Hey people, welcome to the Run Testers. I'm back here at the Ealing Mile to test the all-out, foot to the floor, guns blazing, lung-burning credentials of the new Adidas Adios Pro Evo 2 over the mile distance. Some of you might have seen me do the same thing a few months back with the Asics Metaspeed Ray Tokyo. Here, that's another super light, super fast shoe. Really expensive as well, both of these, particularly these ones, £450 of your finest UK. So we're going to do the same again here. I'm on slightly more tired legs this time after sort of coming off Dublin and Chester, but I'm in pretty good shape from a sort of cardio point of view. So it's going to be interesting to see if these shoes can give me that little bit of extra I need to shave time off my mile PB. So a quick word about the Ealing Mile as the planes go over them. Well, this is a small but it's quite magic, officially timed mile around the park here in Ealing, West London. It's kind of a low-key affair. It's £7 to enter, roughly speaking. Happens on the first Friday of every month. The course takes in pretty much a loop of this park. There are some twists and turns. There can be people about, so that all adds to the challenge of doing an all-out mile, but you get some pretty fast people here of all ages. It's a really cool, stress-free way to race a mile when there aren't really that many mile racing options around. So yeah, it's one that I've done once before and it's kind of pulled me back. So the plan then is pretty simple. I'm going to go all out to see if I can take a few seconds off my mile PB, which was set here last time out with a 5:20. That is going to be pretty punchy when I'm coming off the back of Dublin and Chester, so I don't know how that's going to go. I did my little warm-up, laced into the Pro Evo 2 up here, did a couple miles to get here, feeling a little bit leggy, but this shoe should do a decent job for this kind of run. It's got a control kind of firmer edge that's maybe sort of missing on the softer Metaspeed Ray Tokyo. So yeah, I've done 3 miles as a little warm-up. I think it was 2.5 actually, but it's a bit wet on the ground. The grip on these isn't great. I'm skidding on the way up here in some of them, so I don't know whether we'll hit any kind of slick stuff out here. Hopefully it's going to be like this behind me and then it should be good, but it's going to be a great test for that minimal grip as well. Anyway, we've got about 10 minutes to go, so I better go and get my head into gear and get on with it. So the Ealing Mile is done. I'm now just jogging back home. Still got the Pro Evo 2 on, and what to say about that? Well, I think I crossed the line in about 5:24, so I was 4 seconds out from my fastest time, which I did in the Asics Metaspeed Ray Tokyo. The thing is, and we've got to get this out front, it's the grip. Got to talk about the grip. It absolutely chucked it down just before the race started. It was already kind of damp on the road, but then it just unleashed for about 2 minutes just before we started, which made all of the course quite slick. And even though it's not the slickest of tarmac in that on the paths, for the first probably 400 meters, maybe 800 meters, I could just feel the shoes not gripping, didn't have the confidence to really push. And yeah, I was on edge. It was like I was just waiting to slip. And in the mile, you can't have that kind of hesitancy. You've got to have the confidence to push. And I think that would almost certainly have cost me seconds on that. Whether or not I would have gone faster and then blown up later, who knows. But for £450, I want shoes that are going to grip the road, please. I don't know, even in the wet. Yes, you could say, oh, these shoes for performing perfect conditions, perfect road surfaces, whatever. I'm unconvinced by that. I mean, I'm not sure even the elites would necessarily be getting those conditions on a road marathon or wherever. It's a problem. It's a big problem. Like even on the way up here, whilst I was running up here, I was hitting sections of pavement on the way here, not even moving very fast. But if anywhere it gets slightly slick, you feel like you're Bambi on ice. That is a huge problem for these shoes. So the course kind of starts and you almost do like 20 meters and there's a sharp left-hand turn. All of that was quite wet. And I think for that first section, even for, I'd say, the first sort of 20-30 seconds, I'm thinking I might not actually be able to finish this race, or I might have to stop because it's way too slick and I've got not enough control here and it might be dangerous for me to be pushing. Second bit of the course, it wasn't quite so wet. and I got a bit more traction, but I was still very much aware of it. And now how that changes the ride of the shoes, you know, you want in these shoes to be able to really be driving, be up on good form, absolutely making the most of that kind of energetic responsiveness by, I think, you know, you're going to be pushing and picking your feet and getting more out of it. I couldn't really do that because I felt like every time if I pushed down too hard, the chance of me wheel spinning and slipping out were quite high. So I think that has kind of, you know, underscored the performance there slightly. Now, flip side to that, I was on very quite, you know, heavy legs after Dublin and Chester, and if you'd have said, you know, to do a 5:24 mile after those two races in the last 3 weeks, I think that would be seen as a good performance. On dry, where you can engage these shoes properly, I think there's every chance that they help me go faster than my PB on very tired legs. So the ride of the shoes, I think, differs to quite a number of the super shoes that we've got out now, where there's a real responsiveness, there's an immediacy to the foam. It's a much kind of firmer, denser feeling underfoot, where that midsole platform is engaging really quickly. It's kind of locking in and pinging you off. And there isn't quite as much kind of that sort of sink and bounce energy that you might get from, certainly from the Ray Tokyo, from the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2, maybe even the Adios Pro 4. So what you're getting is like probably a more consistent ride underfoot. I think for me these shoes feel more reliable and consistent underfoot when you're on, you know, when you're able to run in them good conditions without the grip issues. And they are punchy, they are fast. I really feel that kind of pronounced rocker that sort of gets you sort of off that bit of engaged foam and springs you out off your toes quite quickly. Are they fast? Absolutely. They are so wonderfully light as well. Another kind of benefit here, they are supremely light, and you really notice that on the foot. I do think that the uppers are really comfortable as well. This time everything held really nicely. When I did the first run test, there's a video on the channel, had a bit of rubbing in the heels on one of them. That hasn't happened today, so paid a bit more attention to how I was laced into the shoe. That isn't an issue. The fit and the hold and the lockdown and the way my foot stays on the platform even in the corners, that was really good. I really like that. And I said it about the Adios Pro 4 before, sometimes the Adios Pro 4 can lean me out a bit because of the cutaways. I don't really get that here. And this shoe, when you're up and moving with aggression on that mid to forefoot, I think it's a really, really pacey, good shoe. So if I'm going to give you a race test verdict on this shoe over the 1 mile distance, I think, you know, I've pretty much said it all. I think it's going to be a great shoe to race a mile, particularly if you had a course where there weren't too many twists and turns. Although I didn't have trouble with it in the corners in terms of the being on the platform and how it was cornering. I had lots of trouble in terms of how it was gripping in the wet. And for that, I'm just, it's really hard to recommend a shoe that doesn't grip in when there's a little bit of water on the ground for £450. You know, if this shoe you can spend 450 quid, you can only bring it out in certain conditions, you know, perfect conditions. It does feel like it's a mistake. I'd rather have a little bit more weight for a little bit better grip in a shoe that actually then I could use across different conditions. I'm not an elite, so, you know, but I'm thinking about this. I'm coming at it as a point of view of like a regular runner who wants to try and run fast, thinking, am I ever going to spend 450 quid on a shoe? Not if it doesn't grip the road, to be honest. Maybe even if it does grip the road, I might not. But that is a big issue, and I know plenty of carbon shoes aren't the grippiest shoes, but most of them, I'm going to show you some slick territory now. Look, I'm going to flip the camera. This kind of pavement down here, when you're on this, if you're moving, it doesn't grip. Forget the leaves, not the leaves, but just on the pavement bits. Every other shoe that I've run in handles this kind of stuff okay. This doesn't, and that's going to be a problem, I think. Probably okay when you get on the road, but so anyway, after my little grip rant, basically what I'm saying is this is a great shoe. It's a fast shoe, it's super light, it's really responsive. It'd be a great shoe to go chasing PBs, I think, over distances up to the marathon. I think it's quite accommodating, weirdly, when you go slower as well. It worked well over the mile when I could run in it. When it got wet, it was absolutely useless, and I think that's the problem. It's kind of hard to recommend it if you can only use it in certain conditions. I would dearly love to try it though on a dry mile and see how it got on as well. From a noisy West London, that was the Ealing Mile race test of the Adidas Adios Pro Evo too. Hope you found it useful, insightful, all of those things. Big shout out to Nihal for running an absolutely blinding 5:03 PB out there in the wet. I was chasing you but didn't catch you. It was great to talk to you before, Clement, as well. And yeah, that's a race I would recommend. Nice and easy to do, really informal but a lot of fun. Every first Friday of every month, £7, cheaper if you're affiliated in the UK. If you live in London, it's worth the trek over. But yeah, for now I'm just going to plod it all home, try not to slip over in these shoes. Yeah, and if you wanted to see how I got on using the Asics Metaspeed Ray Tokyo over the same course on a dry day, I'm going to pop a video up on the channel now. Otherwise, thank you very much for stopping by, and until next time, happy running, people.